Hey guys, welcome back to the show. So I've been a little slow on making some videos, so I'm going to make this an update to kind of fill you guys in, let you know where we're at. We're on multiple projects. Not really feeling like videoing that much, so that's part of the reason I'm not taking the time to edit and stuff. So I figured I'd start out here by the garden because I haven't showed you guys this in a long time. Well, we've got pumpkins. We got a good amount of pumpkins. So some of these guys are actually rotting. There's this one that's turning into mush. But if you look up in the lilac bush, there's still flowering vines up there. So we're going to have, there are gourds up there. I think we picked them all out. So some of this we didn't pick. We just picked a bunch. I'll show you on the trailer where all the stuff is. So here's a watermelon vine. I think there are 3. Down there I coiled one up on itself, so we don't step on them and kill them. And this rain that we've been having, I guess, brought a lot of the leaves down, so now you can see the pumpkins. So we have a bunch picked and we got a lot more to go. We picked a ton of these ornamental gourds. So here's our peppers. Before we couldn't even find the pepper plants. We got to get in there a little bit more and pay some attention to those and make sure we're picking everything that there is to pick. So we're all weed free except for along the edge, which we'll pull all of them up once we're done. So there's the sunflowers. Somebody gave Mennonite Farm Girl a little packet of these sunflower seeds, and I sowed them along the edge of the fold of the tarp where the dirt was folded over. So that's that. Let's look at the trailer there. Rand's my helper today. So the trailers are coming out again. I got to mow. I was gonna mow this weekend, and then I wasn't convinced I needed to quite yet. I was pretty busy as well, so let's run over and look at the other garden. We took some crops out. We brought all the stuff back from the tractor pool. All the weights are laying back here in the corner. The John Deere runs great. 149 worked all weekend pulling the sled back and never gave us a hitch. No, without a hitch. I mean, without an issue. So the van is doing good. We just put some $960 in brakes in it. And the trailer's doing fantastic since I've added some more leaves and tightened and greased the hubs. Decals came for the wagon, so I filled that up. I fixed this tire over here, was flat before the show, and all the tires are doing well. Here's the pumpkins and all the little gourds. We got some spaghetti squashes out of the garden, and I've been eating those. I really like spaghetti squash. It's one of the few vegetables I like. So we had these priced at $5. I think I'm going to drop them to $3 and try and move them on. I think we sold 1 so far. And the stand is out on the corner of the intersection where everyone has to stop or slow down, go in either direction. I think the gourds were $1. We might have to put those down some. The gourds are pretty hardy. They'll actually survive quite a while. The pumpkins might survive at least a few weeks out of doors before they're out of their prime. And one of these was a little bit of green. So those are that. The for sale 3-wheeler still here with us. The old junky one runs great. I still want to chop this into a Honda big wheel, or what are they called? Fat Cats. Honda Hippo conversion. Leroy put some money in his wheeler. Got a new seat for it. The diesel, I put the 12-inch wide wheel adapters on it for pulling trees out for firewood. Now it's raining, I can't do that. But wheelie bars are still there. Those got to go. Put the plow on so I could push trees and brush back as we cut. This corner of the garden here where the potatoes were, that's all gone. And the weeds are coming back in. Needs to be rototilled. These are the last planting of potatoes that I healed up with some old leaves from the yard from last year. Last year I started in a big circle and went around the trees and just blew all the leaves in toward the tree, and then scooped it up into the white wagon over there and piled it out back behind the old barn foundation, and just kept agitating it time and again. So this is the last planting of corn. This strip here was beans, string beans that dried out and reseeded. So we ripped the stalks out. All of that got piled back on the compost pile. The morning glories are taking over this part. This, I don't even know what's in here. I don't even know. A volunteer watermelon took over this whole area and the morning glory, so now it's just jungle. And right here is one. I guess we ate the one. I don't. Sarah didn't tell me exactly which one it was, and I'm not sure if I ate some or not. Last night we had a family gathering. We might have ate it then. I don't know. So this is the second to last planting. I don't know if this just fell over. The kids kind of play in here. So this was the first maybe second plantings. So I figured out that I can kick the stalks at the bottom joint, pull up the stalk just gently, and then kick it, and it would break them off. So I did that because I don't have a sickle or a machete or anything. Just kick the stalks off, hauled all of those away, and then show you guys the sunflowers, how bent over they are. I'm so impressed with how strong the stalks are. They're just so tipped over, and that big one is like 10 or 12 foot tall. The cauliflowers aren't doing too hot, I don't think. Hopefully they'll come around, or at least give us something edible. So that's the garden. I'll show you guys these morning glories are everywhere. They're so pretty up close. Hopefully someday we'll have cameras that can really show the detail. So that's all of the stuff out here. I did start collecting some of the wood that was already pre-cut, and we cleared off a staging area out back where we can pull the logs into and cut. It's kind of hard because I can't really cut wood with the kids around. So let's go over here. So you remember this Arctic Cat? I left the parking brake on last winter and drove it to the muck and caught it on fire. So I got all the parts last year, and now I finally have assembled everything and spliced all the wiring where it was hurt. But now there's no spark, but the headlights come on. So we're working on that, trying to figure that out. Today's project is Leroy's Virago that isn't charging, and the spark is so weak it won't run right unless the factory plugs won't run right. But I've stuck the snowmobile ones, the BR90S, in there, and it actually will run, at least on one cylinder. So the other thing we've got going on is this truck here's got an EGR valve that recirculates exhaust. It sits right here on the intake manifold, and this is your view from the driver's side fender. So the EGR sits back here. There's an air valve or a vacuum valve that turns the EGR off and on, and then there's a hot pipe that goes around the back of the motor against the firewall to the exhaust side, and it makes the engine breathe nasty exhaust. And this was bad enough to where it started affecting the IAC valve. So my idle was really high, 1500 RPM, and I'd have to drag the truck to stop at the stop sign. So exhaust enters the valve, comes into the intake over here, into this hole. Toyota's got a temperature sensor here to verify that there's flow, and then it enters the intake in here. And this is what it looks like. I think it's what they fill magic markers with. It is nasty, nasty. So we're going to take all the hoses, electronic stuff off of all of this. I got to clean the throttle body and the IAC valve. And then it's going to go to Greenlight Products, and we'll stick it into their big dishwasher. So the other thing is I'll have to try and clean the intakes. This has got a port for each valve, so it's a 32 valve 4-cylinder, so it's it's a 16 valve 4-cylinder, so it's got 8 intake ports and 8 exhaust ports. So while we're at it, we're going to get rid of the EGR function, and we're going to try and maybe use a Magnum Tunings devices to try and get this truck running right. I have the O2 AFR gauge and gauge pod still in there. My gauge fell apart and didn't quite work, so I think I'll buy another one, get the AFR thing hooked, and get the Magnum Tunings device hooked as well. So that should allow us to tune the engine, get rid of all the black smoke that we've been having. I'll show you guys the exhaust because it's pretty important. So you can see that the exhaust on this is black, and there's even black stains from since I've last washed or painted it. So that's the kind of terrible AFRs we've been having. So this truck will be more emissions friendly by actually tuning the engine correctly. So that's what we're going to do. I also have a turbo and wastegate for this. So the exhaust manifold here, we have enough room for a turbocharger. We just got to fab up the exhaust manifolds. And I'm not going to run an intercooler. I'll just hook into the air box with the mass airflow sensor. And this old motor should probably run okay like that. Up to 10 psi, I've been told these motors will be able to correct in their fuel supply. So a side note to all of this is I finally found the fuel filter underneath the intake, which is crazy. And I cut that open and it was completely disintegrated inside. You've probably seen the short that I made by now. And that's really it. So we need to order some parts for the Arctic Cat. We need more time on this. The van is going bye-bye, so as soon as it sells, unless I buy it, I would consider buying the van and I'll have to have somebody help me buy the van or put it on payments. But I would consider buying the van if it was a 15-passenger. If it was a 15-passenger, it wouldn't be that hard of a decision to make. But since it isn't, then it doesn't really fill the bill for us. So there we go. So that's the situation with that. So we'll be looking for a 15. We'll be looking for something I can afford. We'll be looking for something. I think Leroy's going to help us out with it. Put it on payment through him. And that's the reason we're trying to hustle with our vehicles. And we've almost got enough money where we were behind 2 rent payments. We're now only behind 1 rent payment. We got the first one out today. But so that $400 that we owed to the other 4Runner is a little bit hard to come by right now, but we're going to keep working at it. And I've advertised on Facebook for doing repairs and things, so we're actually getting plenty of work in here. There's actually the under that black blanket, there's that 550cc 2-stroke stand-up jet ski engine. So he's supposed to come by this week and put some cash down for parts, and then we'll get the parts ordered, and we'll get that engine taken to the industrial cleaner as well. I'm going to take the engine to the cleaner, even if he doesn't buy the parts, because I'm going to buy the parts myself once I have the cash on hand. So we're working hard. We got a Cub Cadet Habit Snowblade last week that was sandblasted and primered for the guy. He was very happy with it. He thought he might have some other work for me to do, so hopefully that'll all go well. I like making my customers happy. If I can do that without going broke myself, that's a great bonus. So guys, thanks for watching. I guess like Wrangler Star says in his videos, keep my family in your prayers. We really would appreciate that. Have the blessing of multiplication on the work of our hands. it takes a lot of energy and time to watch the kids and all that, and it does take a lot of money to be alive. So sometimes it's a little bit discouraging to think about how much money and how much energy and effort it takes just to keep on being alive, keep on paying for a home or a house. We're very fortunate. We don't own this. We're very fortunate that we have the opportunity to live in a place like this where we're paying less than market value for a house. Plus, we get this building here where we're able to work. And last I was told, I was encouraged to do welding work in here if I had some. So, thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.